Thank you so
Great.
much for taking the time to talk about your incredible work. I know you're calling all the way from Nigeria, so it really means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, the pleasure is mine. The pleasure is mine. I'm excited for what you're doing. I'm really happy about.
Thank you so much. All right, so do you want to start off by giving a brief background on young innovation leaders and what your team is looking to achieve?
Okay, so the Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship is a platform we have created to mentor and train young professionals in Africa. Our purpose is actually to raise leaders that can inspire, initiate, manage, and lead innovation within their spheres of influence. This is what we hope to achieve with the Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship. 2 years running now, and we've been able to get started on this particular mission.
So what inspired you to start such an initiative? Were there like any personal experiences that you had that maybe kind of sparked your interest in social entrepreneurship?
Yes, so actually two things. By background, by training, I'm a medical doctor. But when I went to Israel to study in 2014, Israel is actually the startup capital of the world, if you may. So studied from Israel to Washington, D.C., I was in business administration and MBA with focus in innovation. That got me thinking about, okay, you have something to give to Africa. Okay, that was the very first thing. The second thing was that Nigeria. I see that we have a need, and the need is simple. The fact that we're lagging behind when it comes to a lot of people that are dependent on consuming. We do a lot of consumption here. Okay, we don't really produce what we consume. We are blessed with natural resources, but most of these natural resources are not harnessed yet. And I saw that I had a solution. Okay, so it was a question of a need and a solution coming to a meeting point.
So since the program is a multiple step process, could you tell us like what those steps are and kind of what each step kind of includes?
Okay, sure. So there are three stages. There are three stages in the YL Fellowship. The first stage is the stage of in-person gathering, right? You have these young professionals you have selected. They go through a very competitive selection process. After the selection, they gather in-person gathering in Lagos, Nigeria, and that taught how to solve problems using innovation tools like design thinking, okay, business modeling, and all of that, lean startup methodologies, and all of those. So they are taught all those skills, and that is the first stage. And it's a boot camp. It's a boot camp that lasts for around a week. They are gathered and they are given these intense lectures with we have resource persons coming from around the world actually to deliver these classes, this training. And then I'm also really very much involved. So after the period of the boot camp, the first stage is over. Then we go to the next stage, which is the challenge phase. During the challenge phase, we give them challenges to go solve. So some of these challenges, we've gathered these challenges from organizations, existing organizations in Nigeria, for instance. Then some of the challenges also are brand challenges we have picked up from our society, from our communities. We see problems that the communities are facing. Problems, challenges around these sustainable development goals, for instance. We give these challenges to these professionals to go solve. Okay, to these professionals to go solve using the tools we have taught them in the first stage, which is the in-person gathering phase, right? So over a period of 4 months, they're out there trying to crack these challenges, and they're cracking these challenges under expert supervision. Remember, we had gathered experts around the world, around Nigeria, to volunteer to support these guys. So this happens in the second stage, which is the challenge phase, period of 4 months. It is online, it is virtual. Okay, though the teams get to meet once in a while, depending on what the demands of the challenge is. Then after the second stage, you have the last stage. The last stage is the second in-person gathering. So during the second in-person gathering, they come back to pitch what they have achieved, what solutions they have created. Then they are taught some of the principles to scaling up innovations, how to do learning launches, how to pilot their innovations and all of that. So that is where it happens during the third stage. I also would have to like to mention that I would like to mention that we have 3 strategies in the Wire Fellowship which we follow very closely. So the first one is the screening strategy. We pay attention to the screening because we want to make sure we select the right kind of people, persons that have seeds of excellence in them, persons that have a hard skill. You must have the hard skill. You must know how to solve some kind of problem, right? So these are the kind of people we select. A lot of professionals get to apply for this program from across the country, and we pay a lot of attention in the selection process. So selection is one of the strategies. The second strategy is training. We pay attention to training. Training is something we pay attention to in the Wire Fellowship. We see that most of the professionals around here didn't get adequate training in their university days, given the kind of education we have here. So I must mention also here that the people that participate in the Wire Fellowship are only graduates from universities. Okay, these are the only people we work with. All right, so we pay attention to training. We spend a lot on the training. Then the third strategy is mentorship. We go ahead to introduce them to mentors, people that are experts in their field of interests. Okay, in the field of interest of these are our professionals. These are the 3 strategies we use, and I've also mentioned the 3 steps and stages in the process.
So how successful has YIL been in supporting students from developing countries? And then what are your future plans from now on?
Okay, so I think we've been fairly successful. Like I said, this is going to be the 3rd year. And every year, increasingly, we've had more applications coming in. So people are getting to know us, and we've been able to attract a lot of, a good number of partners, given the extent, the number of years we've spent here. All right, so we have partnerships with some of the best universities in the country. For instance, the University of Ibadan, which is the premier university in the country, sends their best graduate students to come train in our program. We think that this is a very huge success story for us, being recognized by such an institution and having in our program some of the brightest minds in the country. That is one. Second is that we've been able to actually train close to 100 professionals over the past 2.5 years. So, which is actually really cool. It is a great thing we think we've achieved. And we've had a lot of testimonials from participants, going out there, working on, going back, getting jobs, and they're working in their jobs. They've been able to say that, hey, thank you. They come back to say, thank you for the things you taught us. We're able to use the tools you taught us during the program, applying them in our workplaces. And it has been phenomenal. Okay, so this is, these are the things that we get. Also, we have 0 unemployment rate with Wire Fellowship. So everybody that goes through the Wire Fellowship almost always gets employed. Yeah, so, I think first of all, apart from the fact that we give them the tools that will attract them, that will make them attractive to any employer out there, we try to change their mindset. We do a mindset shift to get them to understand that there is so much within them. They can go out there and look for a challenge, look for a problem. We train them basically on how to identify challenges and opportunities within their communities. So that is something great to have done. Also, we have a number of innovations so far. We have over 15 innovations we have come up with in the Wire Fellowship so far. Some of them are in different stages of development, and we're working on them, and we're hopeful that the future is going to be bright. So talking about our future plans, for sure, we want to spread this across Africa. We are already in Ghana, and we hope to get into other African countries.
So what are some of the greatest setbacks that you had to encounter throughout your journey, and like how did you overcome these challenges?
Okay, great question. So I think the biggest challenge I've gotten so far has been that of people. The people I work with are primarily young people in their 20s, 20 to 28 is the category of people I work with. And they're not the easiest category of persons to work with. At this point in time, they don't, they're really difficult to work with. So they are trying to, create an identity for themselves. So this is the time that it's most difficult to give them an instruction, not really an instruction, but try to give them a perspective. Okay, try to shift their mindset. Okay, see, guys, this is where the world is headed. This is where we need to move Africa towards. And they are coming from a place. They are coming from a perspective. They are coming from a mindset. So it's a whole paradigm shift, and it comes with its resistance. So this is the biggest challenge we have had.
Great. So do you have any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, maybe someone that wants to pursue a career in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. You see, yeah, entrepreneurship is great. It's awesome, right? So I will tell them to first um, have a purpose for their lives. Have a vision, know where you're headed. This is what is going to push you. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Okay, it's not easy. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of passion. You must be focused for it to. You must have that resilience in you for you to push through in entrepreneurship, right? So I think that one of the things that will get you going is when you discover a purpose for your life, when you think that this is tied to your vision. You're not doing it because you're unemployed. No, it's the wrong reason to get into entrepreneurship. Okay, you're not doing it because you're unemployed. That's the first advice. The second advice is they should have a disposition to learning. They should want to learn, acquire knowledge. See, there is a lot of knowledge out there, information overload. That is actually one of the things, So now, in this age, there is a lot of information out there. So if you're an entrepreneurship, you need to really be have your head above, the waters. You need to be able to know what is happening out there. You need to keep up with the pace. Okay, so as to be able to identify challenges, be able to identify challenges when you see them, and be able to provide the right solutions. Because if I'm provide solution, that may not be the right solution. So these are the things that we think that entrepreneurs, especially people from this side of the world, should pay attention to this position to learning. Also, that is what is going to drive you to start looking for a mentor, a coach, if you are disposed, towards learning. And again, the final one would be, hey, be hard, go out there, be resilient, believe in yourself, be courageous, and go fight it out. Right? Yeah.
Great. So do you have any last words? Is there something you want to share about your overall experience, something you've learned from this entire journey?
Oh yeah. So, well, I would say this. One of the things that I think I've said it again, I'm going to say it, repeat it. One of the things that keep you going in life is when you think that you have found your own place, your own niche. Okay, always desire to gain mastery in a field. All right, there is something only you can do in the world. There is something only you can do in the whole world. Find what that is, discover it. Let your life journey be about discovering that one thing only you can do in the world. Identify why you're here, position yourself to the place of expertise, of mastery, of high level mastery. And you're not in competition with anybody because you have understood who you are. You've known who you are. You've found your own place. You found your own place. I think that's the word. Find your own place, and then you live a fulfilled life.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. I'm actually inspired by all the work that you're doing to support these students and help them pursue their careers. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how many students you end up reaching in the future.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Babaji.
Bye. Bye.